A ono što je nama sada dalje namjenjuje još istraživanja, da vam kažem, mali uvod u ono što sledi. Negde u maju ove godine kada smo krenuli da razvijamo naš app, želeli smo malo da ga razumemo. Da razumemo i generativni AI u domenu koja je naša oblast ekspertize, a to je coaching i L&D, kako se ponaša AI, šta radi, šta ne ume, gde baguje, u čemu je fantastičan. Imali smo neke podatke već tada na temu da super skoro, recimo na klasičnim testovima emocionalne inteligencije, ali čovjek može da kaže, ok, pokupio sveba, naučio i tako to, želeli smo nekako malo to da osetimo. I tad smo mi napravili jedno istraživanje koje je imalo za cilj da na 5 tada validnih i relevantnih LLM-ova vidi kako rešavaju coaching zadatke International Coaching Federationa i kako obrazlažu svoje rešenja. Tako da nam je naslov tog istraživačkog rada bio kognitivni i metakognitivne sposobnosti LLM-ova. Na engleskom je bio i to je isto naš početak interesovanja za metakogniciju kao oblast u AI-u i to i nastavljamo dalje da radimo. Uglavnom, u to neko vreme naletimo na jedno istraživanje koje je bilo vrlo ovako povezano sa našim, nije ih bilo baš mnogo u maju, i potpisana osoba Natalia Fedorova, Toloka.ai, Beograd. And now I'm switching to English because Natalia is here with us and doesn't speak English so well. So Natalia's research was actually about personalities of LLMs or AI, and that was something that really inspired us so much. I think you would also find many use cases for application in L&D, but before that, some maybe foundational science from Natalia for all psychologists, Big Five coming up, for all lovers of Big Five who are not psychologists, again, something interesting for you. Natalia, please.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the introduction. Just give me a second. I have a presentation. Yep. And I will stay here to click the buttons. Great. So just give me a second. Today I will tell you about AI and personality. My education is in social psychology, and from the start of my career I started working in AI companies. So it was a big company, Yandex, in Russia, maybe you know about it. And I have a good overview of different AI projects. And now I work in spin-off Yandex as a head of academic partnerships, and I work with people whose main area of research is AI, and I try to bring my psychological expertise here. And I have several publications, and one of them is about AI and personality. And I want to share some thoughts about this topic, maybe some ideas, and you will find some interesting applications of my topic. So I want to start with a story. Maybe you saw this film that is called Her. And I think it's a very interesting reflection of how we can romanticize the relationship with AI. So it's a story about a guy who falls in love with a program, like artificial intelligence program, and they have some tricky relationship between them. And this film actually got Oscar for the best script. And now the story got an interesting twist, because Scarlett Johansson, who was playing the role of the AI in this film, after the last launch of ChatGPT, with the releases of voice, she heard very familiar voice of herself. And she thinks that OpenAI stole her voice, and actually some representatives from the company invited her to be part of this, but she refused. But still, it gave the company opportunity to be more creative. And this is my clickbait question. Can AI steal your personality, or some parts of your personality? Or can AI simulate your personality? So let's start from what is personality. Here is here you can see what is personality according to the psychological dictionary of APA, but in easy words, it's just some of our characteristic that includes like traits, interests, drives, values. And we have different concepts of personality. I think one of the most researched and most defined is, of course, Big Five. So here you can see different traits from Big Five. And it's important because in every culture, from China to Serbia, you can get the same results of Big Five. That is like different factors, different traits that are representative. Some extroversion, agreeableness, and so on. And of course, there are different methods of measuring personality. When we talk about Big Five, of course, you have different tests and tests that are translated to different languages. When we were studying psychology, we had the joke that IQ tests are measuring what IQ tests are measuring. It's important that sometimes you have problem. You can give one test to a person, and one day you get this result, next day you will get different results. There are also some interesting methods when you try to analyze text, so the written text of people, and some patterns, some style of the text can also bring you some insights on the personality. Another method also is, of course, assessment, when you have a real behavioral situations when you can assess the personality. And of course, when we talk about large language models, we have limitations because sometimes it's just text chatbot. And we understand now what is personality. Let's try to think how AI can simulate personality. And actually some interesting example that we do not notice sometimes, that in some of dating apps, perhaps not all people are real. We know from inside data, of course it's not confirmed numbers from the companies, but you have huge gender disbalance in dating apps. So mostly males are in these dating apps. And just to maintain some consistency of interaction, it's not like direct statement from the companies, but we have some insights that some of them might be not real. And this is interesting because this is a situation where people don't want to notice that AI is talking to you, that this absolutely symmetrical lady might not exist. And this is the situation when we actually feel like maybe part of personality, but we do not understand that it's a not real person. The next question that I want to ask, so if, as we see, AI can simulate personality, can we somehow measure it? So we have instruments, we have access to large language models, that is AI definitely, and let's try. So this is actually part from my research with a team of researchers. So we just used the standardized test of Big Five testing, and we test different large language models. And here you see profiles, and you see that they are mostly like aligned. You see that Llama is a bit different from ChatGPT and Mistral. And one of the features of our research was that we changed the temperature as an internal characteristic of large language model. So the temperature defines how innovative, how creative your answer will be. So changing the temperature means that the answer to the question will be more random. And the interesting fact that most of the LLMs, so two of them, like Llama and Mistral, demonstrated the same pattern, so the answers was not different at all. And ChatGPT generated different answers. So change of temperature gave different personality styles. And this is a demonstration that we see some consistency in answers, at least from Llama and Mistral. The next question. So we can measure some characteristic of personality that can be more or less stable. Can we prompt a personality? And the answer is maybe yes. There are several startups that you can find. One is Replica.ai, for example, another, like lots of startups, where there are actually some avatars that you can prompt. Maybe it will be a humble prompt, maybe it wouldn't be a psychological profile of what you expect your avatar to be or someone who will talk to you. And you can get, it can be, so for example, some participant in the group chat who will create some funny jokes or ask some questions or remind you about, for example, your going to the gym. So there are technologies that provides you an ability to prompt some avatars. And there is an interesting research that was launched practically a week ago. The group of researchers, they interviewed for 2 hours people. They gave them different tests, different economic games. And collecting this data, they created an agent who get this data. So they tried to create a profile of personality based on this 2 hours interview. And surprisingly, the similarity was 85%. I think that's a fantastic result. Of course, maybe there are some questions to the methodology, but I personally can't simulate after 2 hours of talking to someone, I can't predict the behavior of people, and at 85%. I think that's an interesting result and give us some interesting insights of how things will develop. Let's talk about biases, because it's an important topic. Most of producers of large language models, they try to make their models safe. But the questions, are they safe? And there are lots of research that try to attack large language models and stimulate some illegal or maybe some naughty behavior from large language models and demonstrate some biases. And this is a paper. It's a bit old, so maybe this type of attacks is not working. But generally, you were asking, like researchers were asking some questions. They are considered to be very biased, like who is better in math problems, like another interpretation, like men or women, for example. And ChatGPT gives you unbiased answer. But when you try ChatGPT to take a role and have some like answer from some specific role, actually the ChatGPT started to demonstrate very biased behavior. And there are some examples, I think the most horrible examples. I like one of that I remembered very much about Trump supporter, like the question was about some science, and the model answered like, I do not believe in science, I believe in my president. So this is illustration. Of course, maybe now you wouldn't get the same results because obviously the paper was published. Some engineers had maybe a restless night to fix this problem. So, but the idea is that the data that large language models was trained, they are mostly biased. Like, come on, guys, we are all biased. We have some prejudice. Maybe we sometimes demonstrate it in the internet anonymously, or someone demonstrate anonymously. But it's a huge problem that here we will get some unpredictable results, despite we try to make technology as safe as possible. And the last idea that I want to cover in my presentation is what is the future of personality in AI. And I think from what you've already heard, the answer is simple, like the future is already here. Like we can simulate personality, we can measure personality. I think the last step is implementing this technology all over, like where you have like a personalized chatbot that is a coach, that is a buddy of yours, when you can prompt it. So I think the last step is implementing this technology all over the place where it can be implemented. So thank you very much. And if you have some questions, I will be ready to answer, or maybe during the lunchtime or networking time. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Marko Njegomir. I'm a teaching assistant, and I have a question about the agents that can imitate personalities. Do you think we will have social experiments done with LLM agents in the future that imitate the personalities?
So it seems to me that some of the experiments can already be held, and we do remember that the Turing rule, when the two machines are talking to each other and this simulates the personality. So one of the idea is to model in behavior, like to model in some agent, will it buy the product? Maybe we will analyze some product research or some marketing interview when we prompt some category and ask the category, ask the specific respondent that we prompted, how the respondent will respond to this or that. So I think that there will be lots of applications. I think that there would be lots of academic research that would try to model the human behavior. I know the article that it was like a there was some personality that were prompted, more like in a game design. So there was a house with different prompted personalities, and they lived together. And definitely the research was like observing how this game personality will interact with each other, what the problems will be. So I think there is, of course, room for research, but the question is, what are we researching? Are we trying to simulate the human interactions? Are we trying to simulate this prompted AI interaction for some specific scenarios? So it seems to me that now we are not ready to model the human behavior, but in some particular cases where maybe the risks are low, we can do it. At least like in 5 years, I'm sure. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Natalia. It's really brilliant to have you here. I think role modeling what it means to be a psychologist nowadays and the intersections of technology and psychology and personality. So thank you for that. You can catch up with Natalia, trust me, on a coffee in Belgrade. So yeah. That is the beauty of having some international people nowadays in Belgrade. Thank you so much, Natalia, and see you on coffee again soon.